Thank you for always visiting Joshua Okue Online Math. In this video, we have two questions that we'll be using to demonstrate how we can find the values of x when given two equations. For instance, the very first question we have here in this example says that the graph of two functions f of x and g of x are given. F of x is equals to, we have x plus 6 plus 1, the absolute values, and then the g of x, 1 over 2x plus 7. Now, the beauty of this question is that the graph is provided for us already, and now we are asked to do something. And what is it? The question says, find the values of x for which f of x is equals to g of x. Very simple, right? What are we expected to do here? Very simple. All you need to do, look at the graph carefully, and you will notice something. The two lines, they have a point of intersection. So we'll be identifying those points of intersection because that is what will lead us to the values of x for which f of x is equals to g of x. So now let's look at it now. Looking at the very first point there, do you take note of this point? Look at this point I just marked here. If you look at that point, at that very particular point there, you will notice that the value of x there is what? Is negative 8. And then y at that point is what? Is 3. So that is the first point of intersection of the two lines. Now we have another point also there. Now let's look at the next point. At this point also, there's also intersection at that point. At that very point, x is what? X is 0. And then y is what? Y is 7. Now, since we're asked to find the values of x for which f of x is equals to g of x, simply put, we are asked to do what? Identify, just pick the values of what? Of x from the two pairs. Again, when you see number written like this is the pair x. We have it in this form, x and y, meaning the first number you see in there stands for x, while the next number you see in there stands for y. So the solution to this question will be the values of x for which f of x is equals to what? G of x. The values of x are x equals to 8 and x equals to 0. And that is it. Simple, right? It's not difficult. You see, I told you, mathematics is the simplest subject of all. Not difficult at all. Now, let's look at the second example again now that we'll be using to demonstrate how to answer this kind of question. So the next question says, the graph of two functions f of x and g of x are given. Now f of x is a quadratic equation, negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 14. And g of x is a linear function, negative 4x plus 16. Again, look at the graph given to us. We first identify the points of intersection in this graph. So if you take note, our first point that we'll be identifying is at this point here. At that very particular point, what you notice, the values of x is what? Remember, our pairs are what? X and y. We always write the value of x first, okay? So at this point, the value of x is what? X is 3. And then y is what? Y is 4. That is it. Now, let's look at the next point again. Another point of intersection again. Let's look at the next point of intersection. Okay. Should be at this point here, right? That is it. So at this point, guess what should be the value of x there? So all we need to do, we trace it to the x-axis, okay? The x-axis is the horizontal line, while the y-axis is the vertical line. Again, so we trace to the x-axis. The value of x at that point is what? Is 5. And then the value of y at this point is what? Is negative 4. That is it. Again, the question says we should find the what? The values of what? The values of x, right? So if we're looking for the values of x, so we'll not say x, what are the values of x? For which f of x is equals to g of x, the values of x are x equals to 3. Again, we'll pick this, and x equals to 5. These are the values of what? Of x, for which f of x is equals to what? G of x. Not hard, right? Very simple. This is how we do it in this channel. We make mathematics so simple. We show you the best way you can solve mathematics, the best way you can approach mathematics question, the easy way out in solving mathematics. Please, if you enjoy what you just watched now, we encourage you to give us a thumbs up and drop your comment in the comment section to tell us how you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to share our videos on all your social media platforms. And if you have not subscribed to our channels, please endeavor to click the subscription button and turn on your notification button so that whenever I upload new content, you will be notified of them. Please watch out for subsequent videos on how to answer questions like this relating to graph.